Welcome everyone to take 2 of AI, the state of AI, amazing, the future of humankind, or peak bug failure. Take 2, break stuff. Take 2 because AMD GPU. Probably what happens if you let AI write AMD kernel driver. In another video the other day we briefly discussed Microsoft Recall. In my opinion, not the best idea for privacy and implementation details reasons, right? Efficiency, battery life, and so on. And in similar news, the AI to replace also all the stuff didn't load now, thank you very much. And dear CEO Jensen, AI will take over coding, making learning optional. Super hilarious, right? Even if AI would be good, like learning, like the only thing left for humankind when AI takes over, what should we do? All farm rice and grains and cattle, and like if there is a future of humankind, I would argue it is in learning, in doing nice things and so on, right? Let me just preload. I'll make sure this stuff is preloaded here now that I had to reboot due to AMD. The other day I wanted basically live stream this yesterday already, but today some more stuff came in. I read a study the other day. Is Stack Overflow obsolete? An empirical study. It's like not some random gossip here from us and on the internet, but a proper study here. And so they analyzed the answers of compared Stack Overflow answers with AI. And spoiler, you obviously want to read the study. Half of the answers of this, the simple questions were wrong, right? Finding one, more than half of ChatGPT's answers contained incorrect information. 77% of ChatGPT's answers are verbose. 78, like basically like verbose, like I hear, like babbling, uncontrolled nonsense between the sentences, right? 78 ChatGPT answers contains inconsistencies with human answers. However, ChatGPT answers are comprehensive and cover different aspects of the questions and answers. Finding too many answers are incorrect due to ChatGPT's incapability to understand. Like 2024, like the future is AI, maybe not, mostly not. Many answers are incorrect due to ChatGPT's incapability to understand the underlying concept, right? So much to NVIDIA's, it's like coding, programming is obsolete, making learning optional. Like no, like they're, I mean, sure, eventually AI is self-learning and self-advancing and stuff, but maybe the remaining humans on this planet or Mars and wherever at least want to do something nice with their life, right? If we have robots farming and AI thinking for us, right? So much to like I don't understand what's wrong with, like, this is totally misguided and trapped in relative distortion field, not matching reality, not today, not in 5, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20, but also like surely the mission to sell more AI accelerators and graphic cards, right? Finding 3, ChatGPT rarely makes syntax errors for code answers. The majority of the code error are due to applying wrong logic, or so like AI is still applying wrong logic, right? Implementing non-existing or wrong, like even implementing non-existing or wrong API library of functions, like AI still. So like, how do you want to replace programmers with not understanding basic underlying context and even just generating some wrong logic and API calls? But it doesn't stop there. So of course you want to read all of this with popularity, type, and debugging and so on. More findings. Was it whatever? Maybe not the most important finding. Yeah, quite some participants can correctly. So also today participants can still correctly discern ChatGPT answers from human answers over 80% of the time, right? You get some bullshit answer like AI generated, right? The logic for factors such as formal language, structured writing, answer lengths, unusual errors decide whether the answer is generated by ChatGPT. Users overlook incorrect information in ChatGPT answers 40% of the time. So much true. AI generates some stuff, and if people are not carefully looking, like generating some code for your kernel and browser and self-driving car and stuff, like people don't even notice because like so much AI generated context, you also error correction, right? even I sometimes don't see my typos between error correction, and you just read over it, right? Overlooking incorrect information in ChatGPT answers 40% of, like 39.34% of the time due to comprehensive, well-articulated and humanoid insights in ChatGPT answers. Finding 9 prefers, like today, as of today, also multi-billion-dollar industry, but participants prefer human answers from low-quality Stack Overflow mostly, more than ChatGPT answers. Over 65% of the time, participants found human answers to be more correct, and that is like other random human gatherings, right, on the internet. Not high-profile professor, whatnot, like, no, other random human beings on some wiki shared answer thing, right? There are more findings. You probably want to read the study. So much to, Microsoft recalls, like, thanks for training, like wasting resources, training random garbage, and so on, right? And NVIDIA CEO. So much to AI will take over coding, making learning optional. It's like, also like this, you're not getting, like, I also don't understand, and beside wanting to sell AI to the people and more silicon, but also like, how do you want next gen programmers, like, except you think in 10 or 20 years AI will take over, but what is then left for the future of humanity, right? But fear not, the AI future is not that bright. Just out these days, people find Google's AI really is that stupid, feeds people answers from the onion. It's like, Google's new AI overview has encouraged people to eat rocks, glue their pizza, and other incredible stupid results. Like AI today, that is why I usually say I'm not that worried yet. Sure, we anyway should have the discussions, what do we really want, right? Because people commented below my previous video, about my pessimistic, more realistic look of the total fail that is Microsoft's recall, and the privacy disaster and resource battery life decreasing disaster that I don't even want. But someone commented, like, it's not even out of the market, like, let them even develop that, to which I say some ideas are so bad they should not even be developed, right? It's like burning down your house and, like, let's see what the result is, like, maybe it's a good one. It's like, when the idea is already so bad, you don't need to be executed, right? Some ideas are so bad and buggy and inefficient, it makes already no sense. I mean, that is how you get to really bad products, right? If you only have, what did Steve Jobs call those bozos or so, like all those yes sir people who execute each crap, even if it's crap, then you get a crap product, right? If you don't have people say, hello, that is a really bad idea, this will only result in not really good results. But there is more, not only Google, but also more Google, can cockroaches live inside your ... Google AI there, absolutely, it's normal too. Usually over the course of a year, 5 to 10 cockroaches will crawl into your hole while you're asleep. This is how you got the name cockroach, and you won't notice a thing. It's like, no, it's like you train your AI with random garbage and you get random garbage in, random garbage out. That's why we call this FIFO in information technology. And that is also, I mean, not only AI in general is not particularly good, right? These companies spend millions to make billions on concepts that are not thought through. These are these most minimal viable AI-like models that fantasize some stuff, like I always call it a fuzzy database retrieval that may or may not give you some useful result, as seen here, right? In this study conclusion, in this paper, they empirically studied characteristics and show that ChatGPT produces incorrect answers more than 50% of the time. In my opinion, every employee that 50 times of the time, like, such AI would not pass a hiring interview, right? Like, no programmer would be hired or engineer, like think like all, and this multiplies this with all the base libraries, framework, kernel, libraries, frameworks for rocket science, for space, for even AI, LibreOffice and the browser, right? And if you have bugs multiplied with more bugs, like as seen here in this first take, AMD GPU crashes, as it usually does, like then your kernel randomly crashes here and there. Also because, as seen here, people like human review overreading this stuff with all the AI noise. Apparently here some 40% of users overlooks incorrect information of like, hey, let's use AI to write a kernel, to write rocket science, to write AI to use AI. What could possibly go wrong, aka Skynet? But there's more generative AI may also, like other people find here, generative AI may be creating more work than it saves, which is also what I said a couple of times, right? Is it even worth it? I'm not against this technology. I'm only against putting buggy technology to work, right? Of course, AI is a great technology and it can recognize some speech and images and stuff and all good stuff, right? It's just this corporate overload of like, let's throw it in everything, even where it doesn't make sense, like in implementation details of video capturing all your life. Even people, I was even not thinking, other people, other YouTubers, even through more stuff that I wasn't even thinking, because other people's like, the one thing they not capture is DRM, like because I wasn't even thinking about this, but like video processing your whole desktop feed all of the time. What could possibly go wrong, Microsoft? Other people like DRM and stuff, right? Or Microsoft, actually no, Microsoft like, hey, we are not capturing DRM. Like the only thing they're capturing all your online orders, all your family chat. I've also like family chat and other stuff. But the one thing they black out is DRM video. It's like due. But then it occurred to me, like due, you game, imagine you game, like you would need to disable this bloody feature, otherwise you AI process all your gaming, right? Like so much too. In my opinion, it's a total waste of resources for negligible results. And then you need to be even careful to disable it. Like other people even chimed in like, hey, what do I do if I do really top secret work, or like I even like NDA work, not even top secret NSA like, but FBI and stuff, but just like NDA work, like you work with Apple, Google, other, like you work with you're a supplier for big name business, right? Fortune 500 stuff, Porsche, Volkswagen, Tesla and whatnot, SpaceX. And you sign, like we discuss stuff with Apple and so on. Even I have a collection of NDAs with Apple, with state of Germany and stuff. And then like this data goes to Microsoft's cloud or whatnot eventually, or people also, there are even viruses to use AI results, like not even stuff intentionally going to Microsoft's cloud, which probably eventually they will go, but then viruses, next generation viruses of querying your AI stuff, like mind blown, right? And then, so not only gaming, like you would need to disable it for NDA work, for any other intellectual property work, but even for gaming, for performance, right? Like who would want to run this stuff? Video feed, AI, surveillance, 24/7, like for gaming, like training your AI with gaming, like congratulations, Microsoft. Totally buggy, messy features that for next to no results, waste of resources. So even here, they argue generative AI may create more work, and also like implementing all this wasteful stuff that doesn't even work. But then also, for example here, moderating the stuff, right? Generational AI generating search results at Google, and then they need to moderate this. Even there were companies admitting they had paid call centers in India and stuff of, what even was it? Some big name, what was it? AI outsourced, I should, yeah, it's like, yeah, so much fake AI. Don't be fooled, like tech policy press, whatnot. Right, that was Amazon. Like, also, it's AI, it's stupid. Yeah, outsourced, like, congratulations, don't be fooled. Much AI just outsourced, Redux outsourced. Right, this was this AI solutions for problems that nobody asked, right? This cashierless supermarkets in the US, I think it was. Yeah, Amazon made headlines this week for rolling back its just walk out checkout system. It's like I always thought, like, how should this reliably work? How much camera surveillance would you need to film each millimeter, to taking it out of the shelves, looking, putting it back, reading ingredients, whatnot, making decisions, right? Like maybe checking your smartphone prices or online reviews if something is good and so on, right? I always thought, like, how can, like, this is kind of idea similar to Microsoft Recall. Like it would have never occurred to me that we would need just walk out checkout system. Maybe it would work more reliably actually if you, in Europe often things have this RFID tag thing for alarm systems of not theft protection stuff. Like maybe you would even, like, I'm not saying you should do, like maybe if you already have RFID stuff on your expensive stuff, like maybe it would be more precise if you just scanned all the RFID than 24/7 surveillance to recognize something. Absolutely mind-blowing how people could thought that this could possibly work, and then it's implemented not with AI but Indians clicking check marks on a video feed. It's like mind-blowingly stupid. But that is recurring the theme of big tech. Google, GPT, OpenAI, all the others. Even, last but not least, so even here, Google admitted somewhere, where even was it? Yeah, Google CEO, hallucinations of getting at a deeper point where hallucination, what I also always called out here, right? It's a fuzzy database query of, hey, what random stuff have we learned? Like maybe, and then it's even fantasizing some stuff in there, like hallucination. That's what AI is, right? Creative, like humans creatively drawing something, what they recall of their decades of history. It was just what AI is doing, right? Not everything you query there was really there. Hallucin, like, or even it was there, like cockroaches living in your body and other stuff of eating rocks, and hey, rocks are healthy for you. Obviously not, right? Don't try at home, and gluing your pizza and stuff. And even Tesla had to admit, or not admit, but Tesla faces complaints, misled bias about, like, remember this autopilot that is Tesla sells, the Apple of car manufacturers, the Tesla sells to you for a decade. Negligence, fraud, allegations advance based on Musk's statements. CEO vote in 2016 cars would soon a decade later, self-drive from LA to New York City. Especially with Apple removing LiDAR and only relying on fuzzy, foggy, not fully clean and stuff, and no real distance measuring camera feeds, right? What could possibly go wrong? So, and these are not like the cheapest cherry-picked examples, right? Like, I rest my case. Right now, AI is mostly 50% garbage out. I'm not that worried. I'm only worried that people think that is amazingly working, which, spoiler alert, according to the various reports and studies, it is not. And I'm also more worried. Recurrently here we find here working on code that code is buggy, and this big name AI models are used to be trained on this open source and other, mostly open source stuff. And so basically you train your AI on bugs on GitHub, right? Like we fix bugs by the hour here, right? On T2 open source Linux, from everything from LibreOffice and Firefox. Like, and you train your AI on obviously buggy and not best practice sources, because all the underfunded hobby open source projects, and then you expect your AI to write mission critical code from that. It's like garbage in, garbage out, right? Bugs in, bugs out, multiplied by other hallucination and other bugs. So I rest my case right now, not worried, more worried about people putting it into action, like prematurely for big business, spending millions. Right. And last but not least, no, not that. Somewhere here in all this stuff I had prepared, with OpenAI's struggle and battle for profitability, that it even costs like, and that is also like, here's the other summary of create more work than it saves, especially like, hey, sure, it creates well-paid jobs, 2 or 3 times higher salary for working on AI, creating this random bullshit. But then also the resources, right, of OpenAI needing a whole nuclear power plant worth of electricity just to operate. The cost of keeping ChatGPT going, he allegedly earlier, not today, but some months and years ago, the cost of keeping ChatGPT going, OpenAI spends an astonishing $700,000 US per day, some months ago, maybe no more, to sustain operation of ChatGPT alone. This considerable expenses does not even account for other AI products such as GPT-4 and DALL-E 2. The company heavily relies on the $10 billion funding from Microsoft to cover the cost. Like, this shit is not even profitable, right? Generating, sure, I understand developing and research is expensive. Stuff always starts somewhere and gets better. But like, I mean, I would also argue, like, if the stuff is clearly not ready, the people try to sell you snake oil. Like, hey, does this snake oil not taste good and cures your glue pizza and cockroaches? And they burn a whole shitload of money while doing so. Obviously for the sale of startup cashing in, right? Becoming billionaire, selling you snake oil, half working snake oil, and declining user base. Although it's like, yeah, stuff is producing 50% wrong answers, like not even 50% of the time correct answers. Although ChatGPT initially experienced a meteoric rise in popularity, then people tried it out and stuff, and sign-up numbers has witnessed a gradual decline. It's like, no kidding, like if shit ain't working, people will not stay and use stuff that generates, allegedly, according to studies, some 50% of the time incorrect answers. So yeah, I rest my case. We live in a crazy time, and also dangerous, right? Between putting the future of humankind into the hands of AI, of prematurely buggy products that will be used to create the next generation, like buggy AI, creating the next generation buggy AI, and AI be trained on the parody accounts of the internet and bots and bugs. And I'm sorry to be the messenger, AI will not take over coding and other serious stuff the next years. There needs to be serious work to be done. And as I said initially, I'm not like anti-technology and stuff. Speech recognition and other stuff certainly amazing. It's just not mission critical ready for most things. And I would argue, instead of wasting those resources of probably 1 million a day or so, 700 plus for just ChatGPT alone, plus GPT-4, DALL-E, or like maybe even 2 millions a day, I don't know. And there was also Microsoft, I should have all opened this, but just this idea comes to mind. Microsoft deleting their net zero due to AI. Where do we have? Microsoft's carbon emissions, like, remember this pledge to net zero and green sustainability? Microsoft carbon emissions up nearly 30% thanks to AI. So the future of humanity is buggy, wrong 50% of the time, stuff that's consuming resources that we should have better used elsewhere, and not only destroying the future of humankind, because if we ain't switching society to a sustainable basic income model, because like what should be left? I mean, surely eventually we will have robots farming our crops and rice and whatnot. Like, what should humans do, right? I mean, I'm all for like robots and AI doing everything for us. If we could then lay in the sun and pool and enjoy life, I would, however, argue for it. But we don't have like, the problem is society does not have this in place. We don't have, some states talk a little bit of basic income, there's some experiment somewhere, right? But it's not like the billionaires will and governments will give everyone a nice, successful, fulfillful living when the AI takes over and all the robots. I would say it's still decades away, right? Like, don't buy this overhyped stuff. Don't probably give them money for 50% wrong answers. We are years away. I would estimate at least a decade, maybe 2, depending on how this AI bubble pops and bursts soon with all those failing results and stuff. And also, how is this a good idea, right? Like, how is the companies double speak, promising net zero, and they're not delivering, right? Not only big oil, but big IT. And how should this be a viable working future if it ain't working, is not profitable, consumes resources like crazy, and ups carbon emissions by nearly 30% thanks to power-hungry AI data centers consuming multiple nuclear power plants, megawatts worth of electricity a day. I have big questions, and society is certainly not prepared for that. We need more solutions, and last but not least, I totally support this research, but it should have been more research, right? This is bringing premature products to the market, and also the costs, right? The costs, like, better, like, it would have been more profitable in the long term and better for society and humankind if this stuff would have been more developed in the laboratory for at least 5 or 10 years, that the stuff really works better, and not like rushing to the market with half-baked solutions that leave a sour taste in the general population about AI and might throw back, like, if this, I mean, the bubble needs to pop because obviously it's not sustainable, not working, but then might throw AI development back a decade or 2 if funding goes to zero, in case nobody's interested in this resource wasting stuff. So for the users and the products, more development would probably have been better. Skynet, let's tech check quickly comments. I need to do this more brief because YouTube algorithms and other views don't like the Skynet and Matrix Sentinels feeds machines. Yeah, maybe. And that's the thing, right? We should not exist like, yeah, it is a future that looks possible, and we should not exist to feed the machines, right? The machines should be there to feed us, but we don't have, in the Western or elsewhere in the world, we don't have systems that, like, social systems that are designed like this. Maybe we'll see the year of Linux desktop before the age of AI, that it's a possibility. Don't understand the context, right? These systems, even with layered multi-model setups, are glorified prediction systems. Understand there is no understanding period. That's why we have glorified pattern recognition. It's like, yeah, glorified pattern, like fuzzy database, like, it's not like, it's not data, it's fuzzy. I probably should probably have merchandise, right? Fuzzy data, fuzzy compressed database retrieval systems or something of that sort. To be fair, the new metric of being incorrect isn't exactly a binary. You can read this paper and study it in more detail and leave us in the comments below. Just, I mean, there are examples, so they have examples of, obviously if your AI is generating code that doesn't even compile because it's hallucinating API calls, and also like if stuff like logic is wrong and stuff, like if it makes grave logic mistakes, or whatever the case here might be in their example, incorrect ChatGPT responses. Like, yeah, I mean, if stuff is wrong, it's wrong. Like if it doesn't compile or doesn't result in the correct answer, I would say it's not correct. If I would also now find my cursor, there it is. I could post you the DLACM link. And welcome everyone. Just now getting into ML, computer vision, neural networks in the end. Master degree sausage is made, seems impressive. It's neat text, it can be used for certain problems, but like more tech is limited real use. Yeah, and that's the problem is of big tech wanting to throw out on everything, right? And as I recalled here, for me, Microsoft Recall is not the future of personal computer. It's like basically the end of Microsoft Windows, of not, instead of delivering a solid operating system product, putting every AI, like every buggy, slow, making it more buggy and slower and stuff, is for me not the future of actual productive operating system. It's hard to believe any company that is security audited will use AI in any meaningful capacity except low-level, non-audible tasks. Yeah, but people want to apply it to medical, right? Like detecting, recognizing cancer, and hallucinating is the core part of AI, not the side effect. Yeah, that's a problem, right? Like I think they even mentioned in the, totally agree, and I think they mentioned it even here in like here maybe, that like, yeah, it's a core feature, like you're not getting rid, like that is also, but the problem is it needs more research of better modeling the human brain or so, because obviously humans can also hallucinate and fantasize, and that's creativity, but then like a human brain should be, I mean, of course, unless you have not learned this and you have a human brain has other diseases of degeneration, of not recognizing it anymore, there should be ability to recognize and understand, like, this is my memory and that is my made up dream and hallucination, right? But currently those AI systems, like, sure, you could always retrofit this of like having a second hallucination detector or whatnot. So there is certainly more sophisticated research, or then as a result of that, more sophisticated AI models. But as it stands right now, for certain tasks, sure, for creative tasks like, hey, draw me a picture and so on, like, or write me a summary of this text, sure, you can use it to some degree, except if hallucination getting into your summary, which obviously often it does. But yeah, you're not just designing a core aspect of machine learning, of intelligence away with just a fix. Another thing is, of course, reproducibility, right? Like, a problem with this in general is you can't like easily debug it, or like large scale and stuff. In real code, like in normal classic code, you find a bug and then you fix it. And with AI, it's not like you just fix a bug. Like, no, you trained a huge model, and it's not like you're not fixing an AI model, like converting a end to an or and stuff like that, right? So debuggability and reproducibility is anyway another inherent problem of AI systems. Maybe some quick last minute. How can organizations justify this in terms of tangible returns? Is there a specific use case that accept all beyond general purpose applications? What kind of issues does AI have with programming? Is it the creative part? We actually summarize. So basically, you want to read the study, but it's also even understanding the context. So it has problems on each level, I would say, because it's also, as we summarized, a fuzzy compressed database retrieval thing, and not true intelligence. Finally able to watch you live. Happy to hear that. Instant like button. That is amazing. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We do this as a hobby and to grow our links to the product distribution. Basically, funny YouTuber, finance open source, independently finances open source development live here on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe, maybe Patreon, or go buy me a coffee. People used to be afraid of how intelligent AI would be. Now it's apparent that stupid should be afraid of multiplied with our own stupidity. Yeah, I totally agree. This is basically .com boom for the late 90s. Just, yeah, and people believing it. The bad thing is people have learned nothing about from the .com and financial booms there in like the last crisis, .com and financial and stuff. People, the problem is also like this. I mean, it's a little bit American-centered because tech is so American-centered, like US-centered, and people believing each shit, right? Like billionaires, like Musk, like Jensen, like Trump, standing on a stage and babbling all kinds of uncontrolled nonsense, and people believing it, right? Like just look no further than Musk and Donald Trump. And then tech not being critical, like always is, like especially nowadays where a lot of journalism was also already fired and let go, and yeah, condensed to not like journalism being condensed to advertising sites, and those advertising sites not being very critical, right? Because it's like this American thinking of everything is amazing, and then like the press, like, hey, Microsoft Recall is amazing, unlocking the future of PCs is like, yeah, a little bit critical thinking. That's probably what you're here for on my channel. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. Leave in the comments below what you think. Thanks for the congratulations. We at times had some more. I think recently we had nearly 200 live views for my 25-year dream operating system summary, right? If you want true just working tech, I can recommend our Linux distribution, 25 years in the making and finally amazing. And AI is not intelligence, yeah, it is artificial. It is the A stands for advertised, right? Or something of that sort. And arriving now as a student of CS must fear the decrease of jobs at high competition in the future. Probably a stupid question, thank you. I think right now, I mean, the problem is people investing, like big tech investing so many billions into this technology. I think Amazon, Google, Microsoft, that they let go other people. Even Tesla recently fired thousands of people, including their whole supercharger team and stuff, just to hire them back and so on, right? So the problem is with all the financial flux and so on, companies, the problem is not I would summarize it as currently, of course, there is a surplus of talent, of companies firing thousands of people, but the problem is not really that they are not needed, but more like companies have spent billions on bullshit like Apple Car, like Apple Vision, like all this AI stuff, of this half-baked money-losing AI stuff, right? So instead of focusing on products that actually would work, they burn billions and make investors rich and fire good people after spending all the money on non-working solutions, right? On spending all the money on burning electrons for 50% garbage output. Journalism has been terrible since forever. Them failing with AI isn't. Yeah, I'm not saying they're failing with AI. I'm saying I would say like 40 years ago journalism was much better. I'm also not saying like AI is. I'm also not saying journalism is failing in the last years. I would say journalism, like basically what is. I just miss a non-native English speaker missing words. Let me just like basically. I would say journalism was basically destroyed over like for bean counting over decades. Like not even one decade. I would say journalism was, in my perception, at least degraded for 30 years already. Let's see. I don't. Whatever the best term for that would be. Like for. Yeah, it is what it is. I miss just the perfect word for that. There certainly is a very good perfect expression for that, which it's not on my tongue right now. Want to ask you that I'm in a great college and around me and always saying that we're gonna lose our jobs. No, we will not. basically, at least not for 10 years, maybe longer. I would actually here to give you like, and that's the thing, I'm not overly negative, I'm just realistically critical. And so I'm not frightened because I see all the imperfections, I see all the bugginess, right? And also, like, even before with manufacturing, there's this outcry of many automated factoring is all the workers lose their job. There's certainly some lost, but maybe many jobs upgraded for actually building robots and automation. There are probably more jobs lost in the Western world, outsourcing it to overseas, to China and Asia and stuff, which I'm not the greatest fan of. As we now see with also supply chain issues, also even in COVID supply chain, remember the supply chain issues of not getting stuff. There are also chips stuck in the Suez Canal and stuff. So for all those issues, I would say more local manufacturing all over, not only in Europe, but USA and everywhere. Because, I mean, it's also resources, right? Like, remember the CO2 and net zero and stuff, like manufacturing locally usually is way more sustainable than shipping, like spending 50% of the resources of shipping it all over the world in oil burning old-fashioned ships and stuff. So I think the death of jobs is greatly exaggerated given the findings here of like cockroaches living inside your body, and hey, have you tried nice pizza? Have you tried glue and sparkling is with it with rocks and other incredible AI results. So the death of jobs is greatly exaggerated. There is, of course, huge question marks, which but more like for 20 plus years. Not sure if that is what Jensen means here. But I'll always argue, but the thing is, and that is the thing, right? It boils down to, do we want humankind to be degraded to be feeding robots, or do we want all humans on Earth having an amazing life and living their dream and stuff? And automation and robots and AI wouldn't be bad if they wouldn't suck so much. And but the problem is this, like, the more high level jobs we automate, the more low level jobs we have, like building jobs, like building data centers, or like harvesting rice and grain stuff. And the problem is, of course, like, what should be the future of what should be the purpose of living then for humans if matrix like AI is doing everything? Hard questions, but the problem is, we have seen that automation has not displaced the lowest income jobs like rice farming. I mean, sure, we have some automation there is some automation for rice farming. I'm only saying, right, there's still a lot of or mining ores and stuff, like rare metals. A lot of the stuff is also super dirty, usually cancer causing and stuff with all the chemicals and so on, like fracking and so on, and other supply chain stuff and other automation of, like, just watch all the even iPhone assembly, not fully automated, right? Like low profile job of assembling stuff. So there still is not even a robot for fully automated assembling of all of iPhone or a Tesla car. Like, just look at all the human labor. Also, isn't it funny how Elon Musk and stuff and Jensen and others, like, hey, we will automate everything, and then, like, just look how NVIDIA GPUs are manufactured overseas in China, and how your Tesla is manufactured with all the human labor of putting stuff together and so on. So, yeah. But surely, last but not least, we need a better discussion about the fair share. I mean, not only tax the rich and stuff, big tech, but definitely, like, if there are no jobs left in 100 years, maybe basic income for everyone to live a decent human living or whatnot. But that's it for the future. That is certainly drifting here a little bit of the future of humanity, which probably deserves a own video and live stream. Do we have one last, that's an understanding, it's not correct time for the question about the video, how to install virtual system, get functional UI, installing packages. Yeah, next video. Investigative journalism is what they call when they do it semi-properly these days. Yeah, even investigative, so they put some effort investigating, support your independent investigative journalism, you really need them. It's like, yeah, investigative journalists like Julian Assange, right? Like if they investigate too much, they will be held in some prison. Tester and talk can survive home doing your own thing and working for yourself. Problem with investigative journalism won't mean much for technology. People can just... I would also like fair review, right? Like, it's not even investigative journalism, like in this like little bit less advertise-driven summary, like common sense journalistic summary. It's not like for this recall, you don't need investigative journalism. That would be more like how, under what shady human life conditions iPhones are assembled in China. For this, or like Julian Assange, like war crimes. But in this case, it's more like critical thinking of privacy implications. Is this a feature that is usable and users even ask for? And so on and so forth. Implications for runtime of your laptop and waste of resources of running this in the background, and so on and so forth, right? It's not even, it's like basically common sense reporting and not let's just give them a positive article so they continue advertising it as kind of situation, as far as I see that. Much for technology, the future is not bleak, you have the ability to create and make, not come. What do you think about machine learning? Basically the summary of this video. So thanks for watching. If you only arrive now, you probably want to rewatch this in the archive. I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Leave me in the comments below what you think, and I hope to see you soon for all the next fun stuff to come.